Hello and welcome. Today we're at Ocean Park, located in Manila in the Philippines. Now this thing is absolutely massive. It is split into 8 individual zones, which we're going to cover all 8 within this upload, and there is a lot to get through. Now it is an amazing walkthrough attraction. Obviously there is a huge aquarium here, but it also has a super toy display as well, and that is the view from my lunch. Now that is not a bad way to start the day whatsoever, but the first attraction is this all-star bird show. Now you have a all-star bird show and then a sea lion show directly back to back. Super impressive, and just happened to get there at the perfect time just before the show started. But due to the length of this show and the trickiness with the editing, I will have to do this as a separate upload. But you can see just the size of the actual seating area, and as it pans around you can see that there's a big water park just to the left of there as well, and you can see obviously that is where the sea lions and all the other little bits and pieces happen. So it was an extremely impressive show. Now we are going to start off with the probably what is the main event of this whole area, which is this huge walkthrough aquarium. Now just some fun stats for everybody before I go quiet just for a few minutes. It has over 14,000 marine creatures from 277 species. There's over 3,000 cubic meters of seawater, and the main event, which is where everybody takes non-flash photography, is a 55-meter journey through the center of the actual attraction itself, and it is breathtaking. So that is where I'm going to catch back up with you. So I'm just going to go quiet for a little bit, let you enjoy all the fish of all the different bits and pieces, and then when we go into the next zone, I will explain to you what the different zone is, and I will be there talking you through all the different bits and pieces. But just before I go quiet very quickly, just for sort of 10 or 15 minutes or so, there is a warning currently on the main official website, so please be careful. It says, a friendly reminder to our valued guests, don't be a victim of scammers, as there is currently a scam running around. So it says basically get your tickets from one of 3 different affiliated places. You can either get them online from Ocean Park, you can get them from Cluck, or you can get them from KK Day. So there is the 3 things on their website is currently popping up as a warning, but it does say that the QR codes and or bought from non-accredited sellers will not be honoured. Now you can just walk in there and just pay at the gate if you want to, because that is what I did, but just be careful when you go online, because it is currently a warning in place. So I am going to go quiet now and then let you enjoy this breathtaking walkthrough of all of the different fish, and then like I said, I will catch back up with you at the main event, and then I will run over all of the other attractions that we've got to go through. Because obviously it's a long video, it's an hour and 13 minutes long, just to be able to cover all of the basics of everything of what this has to offer. But you could spend a huge amount of time here if you wanted to. So I'm going to let you enjoy the fish probably for the things about the next 20 minutes or so, and then I will catch back up with you through the 55-meter journey. Right, I am back. Now, this place is much, much bigger than I thought it was going to be from the aquarium side of things. I was just comparing it to the stuff that I've done over on the Brick Life Travels channel, walking through the Legoland aquariums, where it's literally just this size of this tunnel, and then you go round the back of different bits and pieces, and it's done. This is by far the biggest aquarium I've ever walked through, and there were so many people taking non-flash photography, which is perfect because obviously you can't take flash photography, so it would actually startle and scare the fish. And then there's loads and loads of people filming like I was, and then getting loads of different bits and pieces up on their social media, getting really beautiful photos as they're walking through the dome. Now, I am doing this very, very differently. Normally, it's either a walk and talk, like a proper vlog style, or I just do it as a voiceover. This is the first ever time that I've actually added my face into the corner, and I just want to try it to see if it works, because I am watching this back for the first ever time, and it's quite nice just to share it with you, and that way at least I can point on the screen where the different bits and pieces are. But then at the same time, if it's annoying and my face is off-putting, which wouldn't surprise me if it is, then obviously just let me know and I won't add it in future uploads. But we are running out of time, like I said, for the aquarium side of things. Now, there's lots of other zones still to come, and I did manage to walk through all of this in an afternoon. So we managed to do the bird show first, then we did this bit second, and then what have we got next? I think we then got the penguins to come next, so that's going to be nice and interesting. There's a cold tank aquarium bit for the penguins, then we got a winter wonderland area to go through. From there, there's something else which I can't quite remember what it is, and then you've got the superhero section, and then you've got this jellyfish section as well. So afternoon is what we did it in, but I would imagine you would need a full day if it is in peak season. And don't forget, if you also want to sort of look at the All-Star Bird Show or the other bits and pieces that they've got running on their calendar, then you've just got to be careful with time, because by the time you've queued up and then left that area, it could be another 40 minutes taken away from your day. And then, of course, you've got to stuff your face with a bite to eat. And that is something that we will be looking at later on within this upload, of all the different areas that you can sit down and grab a bite to eat, because there's loads of stuff on the outside, which is really nice, where you can grab your shakes and that kind of thing. But there are some nice restaurants on the inside as well. Now, you've got this magic tank. Shove your hand in, it nibbles your finger. Basically, that's as easy as what that is. Very, very weird feeling, but it's pretty cool at the same time, just to see all of these sort of different areas and obviously all the different kind of fish that they've got. And then you've got some huge fish here. Look at the size of these, and look at the size of the sharks that are going around this tank as well. You've got them above, you've got them below, and you've got them hiding. And yes, that is a big fish just there that we're looking at against the brown rocks. They are very, very well camouflaged. You can see just the size and length of this tank. You can just use the huge amount of volume of people that are just watching all of this just to the left-hand side. Very, very impressive indeed. Now, that is the end of the aquarium bit, and where everybody is stood right now on the right-hand side, that is by far the best place to get your photo taken for either your Instagram or social media, or the tunnel when you first come in, because you've got the bit over your head. You can obviously get really nice photos and videos walking through that tunnel as well, but as you could see in the video, everybody was doing that, and it was very, very busy. But when you walk around the corner, people were just getting their photo taken and moving on. So you did have the opportunity to have the much larger fish just behind you. Now, moving outside, very, very windy and stormy out here. So as we came out this way, you've got the staircase to the right-hand side. And I didn't clock onto this until I've started to redo this video, that the bit on the left-hand side, it did say it was coming soon. So I stuck my head through thinking, is this the way that we're supposed to go? Clearly, it's not. It's just the door was ajar. So they are putting a new attraction in there. I don't know when that's going to be opened up. This was filmed halfway through 2024. The upload date from this is only probably 3 weeks from when this was filmed, so you can see the timestamp of this video. So it is very, very fresh content for everybody. So let me know in that comment section below when that area is going to open up. I would imagine it would either be for the peak season of the start of 2025, because going by different areas, obviously they're in their stormy and rainy season over here now. I think it starts to pick up from December onwards, if I've heard that right, and then it goes for about 6 months after that. So I would imagine they'll be trying to get it done for around Christmas time, potentially. So again, just let us know. But it's really nice with the steps. You can see all those different bits and pieces with regards to all of the artwork. And of course, it's the penguins that we're going to. But this water and rain is where it's been kicking in through the mesh. It was so windy. Look at that lady's hair flying about. And if you were wearing a skirt or anything like that, like a dress, you were in serious trouble, because the wind was just blowing around. Look how strong it is on that water. If I took my voice off and just added the sound, all you can hear is just stormy wind coming in, because there's no windows on that bit. Then you obviously got the nice little cafe area. So in the summer, what a fantastic place that would be, just to sit down, try and keep cool, obviously, and then you can grab yourself a bite to eat and a drink. But those people that were braving it in front of that bar, credit to them, because it was very, very stormy coming through, and there was a big sort of thunderstorm kicking in, and then the floods started to happen, which is something that we'll cover in a separate video. But the time that I was there, very, very grateful for what I did, and very, very lucky at the same time. So now we're moving on to the next zone. You can see how it just flows. You just walk around from one bit to another. Obviously, I said you've got that central hub at the very, very start where you can go into different bits, but it just happens to be that when you walk through the big aquarium bit, the next bit that you go into, because obviously there was only only one way that we could go rather than the second way that was shut. It then takes you into the penguin bit, and then you go back down the stairs, and then you basically go back to the beginning and you pick up your next zone. So it would be very, very interesting when they reopen the newer area, if the new area then just takes you directly back to the start, and then how do you get to the penguin bit? Because obviously we're doing it as it just flows around, and it's really, really nice and really simple. And also you've got all of the information. You could spend hours reading up all of the different bits and pieces on the wall, but obviously there's just so much to see. It's just nice to sort of see it, glance at it, pull out a little bit of information like this penguin rack that is just here. So you've got the big stack of penguins where it says all about penguins. And the one thing I can remember is one of the penguins was 6 foot tall. I think that is in the bottom right. There it is, bottom right hand corner. It says the giant penguin. So that is something that I did pull out of this information. That's about as far as my memory goes for actually learning anything on penguins, apart from they like a cold environment. So I am not the person to speak to about penguins, but at the same time, they did look very, very impressive. Now, again, if you're into your photography or you enjoy making videos or just different content for social media as well, this is basically a heaven for you. You've got lots and lots of photo opportunities if you want them. You've got perfect backdrops from different bits and pieces. You can see you've got all this nice stuff on the wall. That's why I'm just panning. But then you come to this. So there's lots and lots of people just taking some really nice videos from here. So there is another door to the left-hand side. That I do not know where that takes you. And then you've got some offices on the right-hand side because we've actually walked past the next entrance into the penguin enclosure. So where we're going into now will be where obviously you see all the penguins. So we turn around, you've got to get your ticket out, they scan it, and then you go through, and now we're into the next area. So now this is where you can basically make up the way that you're going around and just doing different bits and pieces. So again, you've got all the different bits and pieces about climate, because obviously it is a huge issue at the moment with regards to all the different icebergs and different things like that, and obviously the amount of water and everything that's flying about everywhere. Lots and lots of storms kicking in at the moment, but you might recognise where we are. So the music that was playing, well, I wasn't annoying you with my own voice, that is one of the huge areas with the big bit in the middle. It did look like they had some screens and stuff up top, so I would imagine they might do like a bit of a show and tell in that area just because it was so wide. It didn't quite make sense that it was just for the tanks because it's not an area that you could basically stop and take a lot of photos in on the middle. So I don't know if there used to be chairs there or if they did like a talk that you could just listen to, which would kind of make sense on the shape. But there is your penguins, and then from your penguin, you then go into a winter wonderland, which is a permanent display of Christmas stuff. Now, obviously, I love Christmas, so that was really, really nice and interesting to see. And again, if you wanted some nice photos to the left-hand side, you had the opportunity to take them up from here, and obviously you've got all the nice colours of the water in there. So you've got the yellow, green, blue, and red. There's some fantastic fish in there to have a look at, but because I don't really know what I'm talking about, I didn't want to spoil it for you for the 20 minutes that you're enjoying that walkthrough. Now, penguin time. So there are some large penguins in here. I do believe it wasn't on this day that we were there, but you can see the penguins being fed. So I would imagine you would come to this section and maybe sit down and just see them being fed. Because obviously you can walk into the actual enclosures themselves. I wouldn't imagine that they would take them outside because that just wouldn't make any sense. So they've got them in. You've got different shows and different attractions in different areas of this huge building. I don't know really if this video is doing it justice just to how large a scale this thing is, because when you drive down and you've got the taxis and stuff that drop you off, even that is on a large scale. You come up the huge staircase, you've got your big ticket office to the right hand side, you've got these huge doors in front of you. There is a very handy hotel on site as well, which potentially might be worth staying at, so it saves you money picking up the grabs and all the other little bits and pieces. It's the equivalent of their Ubers, for example, because that does add up very quickly. So potentially, if you are wanting to do 2 days here because you've got little ones in the family, stay at the hotel, just keep going back to your room, come back, see 1 or 2 zones, go back for a bite to eat. It would be a really interesting 2 days. And again, the location of where this is at, if I remember rightly, when you drive in, you've got like a park area to the right hand side, because I had only just landed and then we went here the following day. Because if you've not caught the absolute disaster of me trying to get into the country, watch the video before this one and you'll understand why I look as rough as I do doing this, because I've only just landed back in the country, because it took ages to get back, but it took a long time to get there, and we lost basically a full day. So we did lots and lots while I was there, but it was bits and pieces that I can remember when we're driving. I'm trying to think if it was at this location when there was a park or it was somewhere else that we went to. So take it with a pinch of salt. Have a look on Google Maps, but I think there's some nice little areas that you can go for bites to eat and have a walk around as well that is close to this bit, and it did look very, very impressive indeed. But we'll focus on this for now. Winter Wonderland, lots of photo opportunities. You can see you've got the nice little sleigh at the back where you can just get your photo taken. There was people going around with the big cameras if you wanted to sort of get a digital copy or a print off, especially just there where the big Santa Claus is. And then you've got these huge penguins that you can just see that are the same size scale as the ones that they were just talking about on the wall. So they must be the giant penguins. Well, they can't be the giant penguins because they're not 6 foot tall, but you know what I mean. All the decoration bits and pieces up at the top. And then if you wanted to get your photo taken here, you could just sit down, get your photo done. And then, like I said, there was a chap just there to the right hand side that would come out and ask if you wanted your photo taken as well. So moving out of this room now, I can't remember where we're going. I think we have got some shops. Then we walk down a staircase. But then I can't remember where we're going. So it's going to be very, very interesting because, like I said, I am watching this back for the first time. I am basically editing bits and pieces out as we go, where I've just dropped the camera to the floor, or me being stupid left the camera going in my pocket. But I did say the video was an hour and 13 at the start, and I've trimmed off some bits and pieces, and now we're down to an hour and 9, just because where I actually did leave it running in my pocket. So just as well, I took that bit out. But this is a huge gift shop just at the top. They put this in a really nice location, actually. If you did wonder what the tiers were with regards to where I was stood right at the very start of the video, this is the first one that you see, because above that one, if I remember, there is a gym, and the gym is actually linked to the hotel, because that hotel did look very, very big, and the hotel also had a bit that you could eat underneath at the front as well. So, like I said, there is a lot to soak in. There's a lot to remember and take in. And it's just going to be really, really good fun watching all of these bits and pieces back. But bearing in mind, if you are traveling from the UK, just remember your weight allowance, because if you go over, you will get stuffed. And don't forget, if you are doing an international flight, the weight allowance is bigger than an internal flight, and that nearly caught me out because I completely forgot about that, because I had a couple of kilos to spare, and then doing the internal flights, it drops right back down, and you've got to pay a little bit extra to basically match it back up with your international stuff. It sounds more complicated than what it is, but if you want to bring bits and pieces home with you, don't fill up your suitcase when you leave, because you could easily bring back a couple of kilos of just stuff from anywhere that you go to in the Philippines, because it is so beautiful and there's lots and lots of different bits and pieces soak in. So again, more eateries to the right hand side. You've got some nice little gift shops and knickknack bits on the left, and then from here we've got like a lava lamp type light room. It was a very, very bizarre place. But again, you've got some really nice sort of like neon lighting, lots of people taking photos down here. You could buy all of these, but I've never ever in my life seen just rows and rows of like snow globes that are turned on and other little bits and pieces like that. And then you've got all these little jellyfish. I thought that this was like a little attraction, not actually realizing it's linked into something else that we managed to actually get into right at the very end of the day. And that was a really interesting thing to see as well. So that obviously everything in that shop links to everything that you can do and see. So we are looking over the top. The hotel bit again is just to the right hand side, but you can see just I am right. So the bit above, that is a huge gym that wraps around. I can remember the treadmill shadows just at the front. That still gives me absolute nightmares thinking about gym equipment. And then as we spin round, you've got the stairs. So we obviously wanted to go down, but you could go up if you wanted to. I'm not going to film walking down quite a few flights of stairs, but again, just be careful, because where that staircase was, you could cut through if you wanted to, but they had actually blocked the door off because of the storm that was currently happening and the amount of water that was smashing up against the windows and things. So just be careful again with the time that you're going, because just prepare to get absolutely soaked. It sounds stupid if you're watching this in a local, but if you're a foreigner, it's amazing how quick the storm kicks in and how warm it is as well. Now, what we are about to do is we're going to carry on looking at all of these different bits and pieces just here. So we are now, I do believe, in the insect section, I think. So we're starting off with some of the bigger bits and pieces just here. And then I think that is where we're going to be going into, because where we were walking down just there, you had a lot of eateries, a lot of bits and pieces on the left and the right hand side. That's how I got to where the outside area was at the very, very start of this video. But yes, I am correct. So you've got different. So if you are squeamish of crickets, cockroaches, spiders, creepy crawlies, and lots of other stuff, this might not be the section for you. But stick with it, because they're not going to jump out at you. I am not going to put a graphic on the screen and make you jump. I could, but I won't. And we will just enjoy this together as we go through this section. Again, lots and lots of different bits and pieces to soak in. It's obviously quite hard to spot the bits and pieces that you're looking for unless you're a huge guy like that. Look at them just posing away. So he looks happy as anything. They all look very, very healthy. But I think this is the creepy crawly bit on the map, if I remember rightly. I could be clever and actually have a look on the website on my phone, but it is more fun me just panicking and making it up basically as we go along. So from here, I know that we have got 3 more things to look at. And I was extremely privileged and lucky to actually be able to see all of them. And again, just having that perfect timing with regards to the All-Star Bird Show at the very, very start, it then just allowed me just to walk around and do all these different bits and pieces. And I think we had a very, very good time. So it was fantastic just looking around at all these little bits and pieces. But again, if you're a fan of any of these, or of course, if you've got any of these creatures at home, or you've got your own tank aquarium, let me know if you would like to come here. So you can see it says new animals arriving soon. You've got a little turtle just there. That was the only time one of the animals looked a little bit distressed. So obviously it's a little bit heartbreaking seeing that thing because you could hear it against the glass. But in all fairness, I think he was just trying to turn himself around, or he was just a little bit hungry. So I think that was all right, because all the others are just super chilled and super calm. So if somebody had just taken a photo with flash photography, that is the kind of thing that happens. So just don't. Just make sure you don't do that. And then you've got these. So can you spot them? They are asleep in their little beds. So I can see them, but I know what I'm looking for. They're in each one of those in the bits. They're tiny little things, and they've got 2 beds, but they're both on the left-hand side. They are both properly snuggled up as a ball. They're like basically bigger versions of a hamster. That that's as much as my animal knowledge can give you. And they did look super soft, super squidgy. They're the things that fly, and they've got the little wings. So there is a specific name for them, which is a little bit more technical than a bigger version of a hamster. But at the same time, they did look very, very cute and very, very sweet. Now we are 47 minutes into the hour and 9 that is currently left. And yes, boo, if you just jumped, that is a very big spider. So these, I do believe, all these spiders have a meaning because they're all camouflaged. So you can see that you've got all the different tarantulas and different bits and pieces, but the writing just across the top, they can hide very, very well for something that is just so big. And you can see all the different spiders' webs and everything that they've got there. It did look very, very impressive indeed. So there is a lot going on to these. So you can see the size of that thing. Can you imagine that crawling over you at night? So I'm sure some of you now have already turned the video off, because I know some of you really don't like spiders at all. But as we come round, you have got lots of all of these other little sort of, I was about to say tanks, but they're more of, I guess, they're houses really. You've got big turtles in there. You've got other little bits and pieces. You've got some smaller bits. The really interesting section is the cockroaches. I didn't actually realise how many types of cockroaches they are and where they get in your kitchen. That is to come as well. So if you're already squeamish now, you're not going to like it. But this, I thought it was, is the Masters of Disguise. So you can see that all of these are Masters of Camouflage bits and pieces. Very, very interesting with regards to just how they can blend in, because you're looking at these now going, well, how could they hide? But if you do a little bit of research on how they can do it, very, very interesting indeed. But you can see, do not tap the glass, do not touch it, and do not take flash photography. Cannot stress that enough. Even if you're trying to do it for your own social media, take the flash off. Now, we are moving around. I don't know how long is left of this section before we move on to the next one, but I will get it in now. If you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I should have said this at the start. There is a huge playlist coming from the Philippines. So not only am I doing a lot of theme park content, obviously we're doing proper old school vlogging travel stuff. So there is a lot of just traveling bits and pieces coming uploading very, very soon, and I will be linking it in and mixing it in with the theme park bits and pieces as well. So there's basically going to be something for everybody on this channel, but keep your eyes peeled for when the uploads get added to this different playlists, because the Philippine playlist, this is the first ever time I have gone away and not gone to a theme park, but there is lots and lots of very interesting how-to guides to come, how to basically travel from one country to another, how you get to literally the airport to the hotel, which is a little bit more complicated than it sounds. So that's always something that's going to be quite interesting. That upload will be coming very, very soon. Loads and loads of hotel and room tours, basically the best places to stay, how easy is it to walk around. You got other bits and pieces coming from other amazing things as well. So I did manage to squeeze in quite a lot of different bits and pieces for this trip, and it was very, very memorable as well. So I am very, very grateful for the time that I managed to spend there, and there's a lot to share with you. Now, this section just here, it was that bit to the right hand side was on, and where the lights stop, there was nothing in it. And it did look like they were rejigging all the bits and pieces around. As you can see behind this sort of big tank, there's more tanks that they've just pushed together and they put a load of covers over. So that'll be interesting to see what that section is going to be, and if they're going to be adding anything new there. If you don't like snakes, I should have warned you, because there's some big ones. And we are starting with this thing just here. And some of these are massive, and there's a lot of them as well. Now, certain areas it was actually quite hard to film because lots of people were just stood and waiting. And obviously what I don't want to keep doing is turning the camera on and off, hence why we're just looking at the floor. I can't be bothered to edit that bit out because I have spent hours putting this video together already. That one was so chilled. I've never seen a snake curl itself up and make a pillow of its own body like that. He just looks super happy in there, so that's always really nice to see. You can see you've got another 6 tanks just here for that is all different mutations, I do believe. So it's all different reptiles, and it's just see again no flash photography. I've got to keep saying that because I did see one person take flash photography, and it didn't end well for them. So just be careful when you do go into these places. The rules are strict, especially for the care of the animals as well. And also they are very, very well looked after. It's just a very, very interesting attraction just to see all of these things, because don't get to see much of this over in the UK, really. So again, lots of different big snakes, lots of different bits and pieces. As you're coming up, you've got all the different homes, you've got all the different habitats that they are in as well. It's amazing how big some of these grow. Obviously, if you're watching this and you're a collector of snakes, you'd just be going, well, yeah, that's a stupid thing to say. But if it's anything like fish, I don't know if the snakes will just keep growing and growing and growing, or if you have it like a fish, they will grow to the size of their aquarium and accommodation. So they won't outgrow the tank, but then at the same time, it does stunt their growth for certain bits and pieces, like the angelfish or the discus fish, for example. But if you give them a nice big home to start with, they will get very, very large and then do look very, very impressive. Underneath, again, lots of different bits and pieces to have a look at. I actually forgot there was so many of these to soak in. They are snakes absolutely everywhere on this. Now, like I said, there is the superhero stuff still to come. It's like a big toy section. If I remember rightly, it is the world's largest collection of Superman, and it is also a guy that has had multiple plastic surgeries to make himself look like Superman as well. So that did look very, very interesting. So this is the cockroach kitchen. Yes, that does say a cockroach can live without its head for up to 1 week. The facts of these things were just mind-blowing, but if I could set up a hidden camera in the corner, the amount of people that walked from the snake section and then came to this section and literally jumped out of their skin because they're terrified of cockroaches of all things, I did find highly amusing. But you can see it says it can hold up to 40 minutes. Now, we've moved on to the ocean planet. So this is the bit that I couldn't quite remember what this was. So obviously it looks like it's Superman related to start with, but then you have got other little bits and pieces as well. But I thought this was going to end up in the toy bit, and that doesn't happen to a little bit later on. So again, this is perfect place for photo opportunities with other little bits and pieces that are going on. So if you wanted to stop and get some photos taken with the different mirrors, you walk in through this section like you do with any of the other zones anyway. Again, you pass over your ticket, you come into here. The first bit that we saw with the backdrop, the camera wouldn't turn on quick enough because there was a perfect photo opportunity just there. I do believe that is the bit for Superman with regards to all the snow and the ice, and it's like a big thrown chair thing. So that did look very, very smart. But from here, we then come onto the outside of the curtain, and you've got all these other little bits and pieces just here with regards to superhuman strength, different sort of film props of just little bits. Now, this was the only bit that I couldn't quite wrap my head around why this area was here. The only thing I can think of is because there was a soft play area just here, and it was maybe somewhere for the little ones to play, and then also they could have a look and get their photo taken of all of the different props, because it's the only bit that is, especially this section that we're looking at now, for younger ones where they can eat and have like a soft play area, and then the bigger ones can then go around and take their photo taken from there. But from this section, we are now going into the Superman collection. So this is, like I said, the world's largest Superman collection, and you can see the photos of Herbert Chavez, that could be the name, of all the different surgeries that he's had from start to finish from 1995. You can see what it looks like in 2013, 2015, and then it pans all the way around to present day. So you can see he has done his best to make him look like Superman. So loads and loads of different surgeries. Fell in love with Superman from the age of 5, and all of these different bits and pieces are his. So it was an insane collection to see. I don't know if this is something that rotates or if this is just here permanently, but it was very, very interesting to see. I'm pretty sure there was every single toy that you could possibly imagine from every single toy company here. So I'm afraid if you are a toy collector and you are a fan of Superman, you don't have enough, because this chap just here has the Guinness World Record of everything. So see, if you're a toy collector and you can spot something that they're missing, then obviously let me know. But I looked at all of the different scales, all of the different types, and it looked like there was every single base was covered, and I didn't really know where to look, what to soak in. Just sort of panned through everything quite quickly. There is just a lot of stuff absolutely everywhere. You can see you've got the different signature series just in there. That was a pretty cool thing to have a look at. And then you've got DC Direct for other little bits and pieces, and up top I think there's some Mezcos and Hot Toys and all that kind of thing there as well. It was just everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Did look very, very good. Every single one of them brand new, and it's great to see that they're not sort of just kept in a box and hidden away. It's always nice to see somebody's collection on there. But it wasn't just toys, it was all the different teddies, you got all the different pillows, you got the different outfits. I dread to think how much the full cosplay outfits cost as well, because I would imagine they are not cheap. Then you've got these huge busts just here, so again, they're not going to be cheap either. There would be a huge amount of money's worth located in here, and again, lots and lots of different people coming in here just taking photos of different things, recognizing different areas of stuff. That just looked very impressive. I did not realize the merchandise line went as deep as what it did with regards to just of the vast selection of things that you can buy for Superman. It was mind-blowing just seeing all the different bits and pieces just here. But again, you can see you've got all the different comics underneath, and then you've got more toys on the next shelf. You've got the huge toys, then you've got all the different videos, DVD collections, everything. It is just everything that is there. You can even see the Batman versus Superman DVD. That is a cool full suit. I think that's Henry Cavill as well. So that was a very, very impressive looking thing. That thing was massive as well. And again, potentially got maybe every single Superman comic ever made, all in different picture frames as well. So again, if you can spot anything that is missing. I wouldn't even know where to start because there was stuff just everywhere. What a amazing collection that was. And then as you carry on walking around, you can get yourself some more merchandise from the little shop that they got just located a little bit further down. And then as we wrap round, I think we're going to get closer to the bits and pieces to eat. And I think we've only got one walkthrough attraction to go because it is only 6 minutes left. So hopefully you've enjoyed everything so far. This bit looked fantastic. The actual larger prop bit I was a little bit confused with, but with the soft play being open properly in peak season, it kind of makes sense that it's just like a bigger area for people just to see some different bits and pieces on. See, we are in the jellyfish section. Now, this back wall here, which is obviously with real life jellyfish, so many people were trying to get a perfect photo of them with a silhouette, and they were trying to do some really creative things and using the mirrors and things like that. I don't know what was more fascinating to watch, people trying to take a perfect Instagram photo or these creatures on the inside just here. Now, they were beautiful. And it isn't just this wall either. It carries on and it goes round. There's a big wall of colour just around the corner as well, if I remember rightly. And then that loops round into just like a room of tanks where it then finishes on. So this is where we are going to be wrapping up the video in the next couple of minutes. As it stands right now, there's another 5 and a bit minutes left, but I haven't yet edited this bit together fully, so I might be chopping some bits and pieces out where it just gets a little bit dark because this video was so long and I had to keep turning the camera on and off because obviously walking through to the different sections and things just where it's really, really busy, it makes it much more difficult to put the video together. So hopefully it's coming through cleanly enough. Now, this is the big bright section. So this is a cool looking thing. Again, perfect backdrop for photos, really, really bright colors coming through. I don't really think this camera is doing it justice. I don't think it's bright enough on the little screen that I am looking at, but that wall did look very, very nice indeed. And yes, this is all of like the little pods. There's some mirrors around the room to make it look like it's much bigger than what it actually is, but at the same time, there was a surprising amount of these tanks because you can see in the distance where the shadows are, they are still stood beside some of these tanks. So there was a lot of these, and when they were color changing, it was amazing just to see the amount of people that were stopping and standing. I assume that it is the same type of species in each one of these because to me it just looked like they were, but I'm sure there's a reason why they've got so many of these tanks in there. They were incredible to see. They are beautiful looking things, and you can see just as the colors of the tank changes, it gives a whole different dynamic of the actual room itself. So they're all obviously every single one changes to a different color over a period of time, and they do look very, very impressive indeed depending on what tank you're looking in. You've got the reds, you've got the purples, you've got the greens, you've got blues. So there's a lot in here just to soak in and just sort of slowly walk through, maybe for the next minute or two. I think then I have actually added in right at the very, very end, because obviously I've just dropped and dragged everything off the camera and basically hoping for the best in this upload, is I think we end up walking back through at the end. We basically do the walk from here back to the front door because this is the last attraction that we did. Then it got a really, really nice shake, which I don't have a photo of, which is a little bit of annoying because I would have added that in. But there is a fresh blender section where they will just put all different fruits in for you. And then you can have basically whatever you wanted. So I had a huge, beautiful mango shake. And then from there, we went to the outside. So now the screen's gone dark. I will take out some of these little bits and pieces. No, we're back. We are back having a look at this. Like I said, doing this bit blind, it's very, very difficult. Otherwise, I'd have to watch all the hour and a bit first, then do the voiceover on it, and then put it together. I have been sat on a hard floor for about 3.5 hours, and I cannot feel my cheeks whatsoever. So that is gone. I put that back into my pocket, so I will go quiet and we'll move on to the next bit. Right, we have cut that little bit out, and that was another couple of minutes gone. So obviously, I was a bit of a schoolboy error on this one, leaving the camera rolling in my pocket. It's not something that I normally do, and it is quite annoying when it happens. It takes so much time to get it back out again. But you can see that that was the dancing sea fairy section. Now, we are at the bit where we had the shakes. Beautiful view. So we've gone and finished the storm. So the first bit of footage was at lunchtime. Then all the rain was obviously mid-afternoon, and then the storms passed through, and then you've got this beautiful view again. Now, from there, just everything has started to close down. You can see you've got all the different eateries on the left-hand side, and you've got some nice little bits and pieces that you can buy on the right-hand side. They were locking bits and pieces up, and there's still some people eating in those eateries as well. And then from here, head on to the outdoor bit. So because I've cut quite a bit off, we've now got less than a minute left. So if you could like this video again, subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. This mouth and this big area on the way up to the door was enormous. This was the bit that was really busy at the start of the day. You can see you've got the H2O hotel on the left-hand side just there. So it'd be very interesting to see what that is like, and potentially maybe one day if I ever go back to this area, be interesting to stay there if this whole layout changes, but obviously it's not a kind of thing that you could easily rotate around. So it'd be very interesting to go to something different just to see what it's like. There is your ticket area, and then there is your final photo opportunity for the Manila Ocean Park. So guys, that is it, and I am done. So as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da.